Today, Nintendo has finally enabled Bluetooth audio on the Switch, but maybe they should not have. This is CheckPoint. Welcome to CheckPoint. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, we're going to read you the funny video game news. You're going to like it.
And then you're going to head downstairs and leave an insightful comment for your fellow audience.
Yeah, and if you don't like it, well, it's been about 30 seconds, so that probably counts as a view for YouTube's purposes.
I got to the PS5 news before Beej this week, so finally CheckPoint can bring you a story about Sony hardware from someone who actually cares and is excited to talk about it.
Go off, I guess.
Good news! Sony has updated PS5 firmware to allow owners to install their own SSDs. And I say install, because I'm not talking about just plugging a boring-ass USB drive into it. No, that's old news. With this update, you're going to crack that weird Frank Gehry-looking shell wide open like a clam and install an internal drive yourself. What kind of drive? An M.2 SSD. But what kind? There are so many. Well, Sony has provided a helpful table. Okay, but if it meets all of those requirements, it'll work, yeah? Well, it still might not. Sony can't be certain. Right, cool, but at least doing some interior redecorating to my PS5 won't void the warranty or anything. Well, according to Sony, it shouldn't. In general, they say it should not, as long as you do it right. But if something unrelated goes wrong with your PS5, I'm almost certain that suddenly you didn't do it right. Sucks to your warranty. Me, I think I'll stick with drives that do not physically enter the PlayStation.
Hey, guess what? There's still more Sony news! Haha! Get fucked, respected co-host!
Oh, go off, I guess.
Sony shut down all the Little Big Planet servers and got rid of all the games you loved making and playing. It must be because they hate fun, or they're bad at business. Yeah, that's it. They are so bad at business and fun. And also, maybe it wasn't Sony who pulled them offline, but the Little Big Planet team at developer Sumo Digital. And no one actually knows exactly why any of this is happening, given that this is the latest result of a year-long string of DDoSs and hacks launched against the original Little Big Planet servers, then the LBP Me social servers, and also the LBP PS3 and Vita versions. No individual or group has come forward to claim credit for these attacks and disruptions either, so it could be for any number of probably extremely petty or ridiculous reasons. Because this is still a game, remember, and not a state actor that's infringing on your rights and freedoms. Like, why do this shit for months and months and not talk about why you're doing it? What do you expect to change? The Little Big Planet team has permanently shut down its legacy servers to better protect their community members, and they have managed to get the LBP3 service back up and running for PS4 users. There's still some ongoing complaints that Sumo Digital's netcode ruins many of the user-made levels from older games, so it's still rough going for Sackboy fans. So don't get fucked, respected co-host. I take it all back.
Apology accepted. The Alan Wake Remaster will be I guess I should mention, they announced they're doing an Alan Wake Remaster, and I'm very excited. But also, I watched the trailer, and it's doing the remaster thing where it looks exactly like how I remember the game looking originally, meaning I know if I went back to look at it now, Alan would have like a brick for a head and move at 2 frames per second or something. In any event, the Alan Wake Remaster will be doing away with the game's product placement. Much derided at the time, the otherwise lauded game featured big billboards for Verizon. Alan himself drove a Lincoln, and there was branding from Energizer on the game's batteries, a common and important in-game item as it was basically ammunition. Creative director Sam Lake said the original deals have expired and those products would be replaced by fictional brands, which is kind of a shame when you think about how wild that Energizer integration must have been 10 years ago. I imagine a business manager at Remedy seeing all the batteries in the game one day, having a eureka moment, and then hammering on the door at Energizer to say, "Hey, we're making a video game where a pulp fiction author sends shadow demons to the plane of beyond by immolating them with a flashlight. Want to sponsor the batteries?" And Energizer going, "Yeah, all right."
The Nintendo Switch has Bluetooth. It's had it for a while. From the beginning, in fact, it's how all of the controllers communicate with what scientists call the main screeny bit in the center. But now it has even more Bluetooth. Bluetooth audio. And it fucking sucks! Now, that's not really fair for me to say, but I'm always eager to throw off suggestions that I'm in the pocket of Big Donkey Kong, which is kind of a sexual thing to allege, so get on AO3 and start writing. Anyway, Nintendo finally added support for Bluetooth audio to the Switch, but it's laggy, which probably explains why it wasn't part of the system at launch. When you design hardware, you test for these things well in advance. It's not like people wake up 4 years into a console cycle and accidentally smash the give everyone laggy audio button instead of the snooze button. Hell, they might not even design that button in the first place. Also, why aren't you all complaining that the Switch doesn't have a snooze button? What do you mean it might? Oh, never mind. I'll ask Heather tomorrow on CheckPoint. Twitch.tv/LoadingReadyRun, Fridays at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 Eastern, 2300 Norwegian kroner. It's laggy, but is it usable? I mean, sure, why not? Like, it's not precise. If you like rhythm games, it's too much. If you rely on audio cues during a boss battle, you'll always be late. And if you're like me and fish in Animal Crossing with your eyes closed, relying only on audio cues to press A, you are never gonna land that mola-mola.
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 Mola-mola. Mola-mola. Mola-mola. Mola-mola. Mola-mola. Mola-mola.
Dorado.
Mola-mola. Mola-mola.
Zebra turkey fish.
Oh.
Coming up, Cyberpunk 2077 has a new patch that makes everything look wetter. Don't look now, but I think the game with all the discarded dildos might be a little lewd.
We sometimes get comments on CheckPoint about like, oh, I can't believe you didn't cover X, Y, or Z story. You may have noticed we do like 4 to 5 stories of a given week.
Quick points sometimes come up, but that's
every week, right? Like we can't be exhaustive, so we miss out on stuff. There was some drama involving World of Warships recently that I didn't get into. So like tiny little Activision Blizzard update this week. The ABK Workers Alliance, which is a group within Activision Blizzard.
Not quite a union yet, but
not quite, but they're getting there. With the support of the Communication Workers of America Guild, have filed an unfair labor practice suit with the National Labor Relations Board, alleging the company did all the stuff that we've already reported on, specifically union busting and intimidation, where they're like, no, you aren't allowed to talk about, when they. So the reason I didn't do a story about this is because the actual news is a group of people within Blizzard have levied a suit against Blizzard saying all the stuff that we already talked about. But we'll keep you posted on if that actually comes out. Actually, you know what I should have talked about?
What should you have talked about?
We got resolution, not necessarily final resolution, but we got resolution on the Apple Epic thing.
Oh, Jesus.
And it was initially reported. The thing is, it's like both sides are claiming victory,
and also both sides are claiming defeat.
I think Jason Schreier got it best in his Twitter thing, which is like everybody who wanted a we win if they both lose scenario basically got what they wanted, right? Like the ruling was largely in favor of Apple in that Epic was not allowed to do what they did, and in fact owe Apple millions of dollars in back pay, and
which I'm sure they can afford,
which they've already paid apparently, according to Tim Sweeney's Twitter. And Apple was found to not be a monopoly, right? Like they're just like, no, it's not a monopoly. They can do stuff on their store, okay, whatever, but also that. It's not to the benefit of the consumers to run the App Store like they have been, and now they have to allow access to alternate payment methods within an app. So, like they have to allow a link from an app to outside of the app for a different payment method. They can't have it in the app on the store.
It used to be even to the point where you couldn't email somebody who signed up through your app and say, I have your email address now. I can email you to let you know where you can make in-app purchases that aren't through Apple. Apple's like, no, that's verboten as well.
Yeah.
And that's like, that is quite the overreach, in fact.
So now it's like, it's not actually what it was initially sort of, I saw headlines being like, Apple has to allow alternate payment methods. It's everything Epic wanted, and it's not.
No. They wanted their own app store.
But I mean, Apple wanted to also have none of this happen, which is not what they wanted either.
Yeah.
So yeah, they really both sides kind of lost.
Yeah.
And I'm perfectly okay with that.
I'm looking forward to even more things that might have cost a little bit of money now just being reduced to free and costing in-app purchases. And having subscription offers that you can't easily unsubscribe from, like, say, the New York Times or anything else. Have you ever tried to unsubscribe from the New York Times? Every story I've ever read is like when you call in to unsubscribe from a newspaper that you get sent to retentions, and they argue with you until you either back the fuck down or like you've been on the phone for so long that you're finally like, do it, and then they'll do it for you. Like it's some people have alleged it's almost worse than doing it through a cell phone provider.
I had to do that once for a cell phone provider, and having worked at a cell phone provider at the time beforehand, I phoned into customer service and they're like, hey, what's up? How can I help you? And I was just like, send me to retention, please. Like, what? Transfer me to retention right now.
You cannot help me any
I was like,
otherwise.
it'll be a waste of your time and mine. Just send me to retention. And the person was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah. Anyway. Mola-mola.
Mola-mola.
Mola-mola. Mola-mola. Mola-mola. Mola-mola. Mola-mola. Mola-mola. Mola-mola. Mola-mola.
Dorado.
Mola-mola. 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 Mola-mola.
Zebra turkey fish.
Oh. Mola-mola. Mola-mola.
Zebra turkey fish.
Mola-mola.
Dorado.
Mola-mola. Mola-mola.
Zebra turkey fish.
Mola-mola.
Dorado.
Mola-mola. Mola-mola.
Zebra turkey fish.
Mola-mola.
Dorado.
I didn't know how long
It's
we
good.
wanted
That's
to go
probably
for.
Heather
All right.
just has to cut us off. Just in the middle. Just cut us off in the middle.
All right. And then to the credits.
Yeah. Coming up. Fuck, can we do that one more time? Forgot where I was.